Okay, thank you so much. So welcome all. Thanks for having me. Sorry for not being able to attend in person. I just moved on Saturday. Saturday to Mississauga. So it's a nice place, nice city, but nothing around me. Anyway, so please ask me questions while I'm presenting SBT, because it's pretty hard to present something without seeing you guys. I wish I could be with you in person, but it didn't. I couldn't make it.
As far as that's concerned, I do have a mic here that we can pass around. So if you do have questions, we can make that work.
That'd be awesome. Okay. Anything that could improve our communication, okay? Because I'm pretty much without seeing you guys, so well, it's like, I'm a blind. I can see you, but when I'm working with my console, with a browser, when I'm presenting, I don't see much, okay? So okay, so thanks again for having me. I'm Jacek Laskowski. I'm independent consultant working mostly with Spark and Scala these days. In 2015, I might be repeating myself. Given that I gave another talk in Toronto a week ago. So sorry for this. It's a shameless plug. So I'm with Spark and Scala these days. The order is not a coincidence. I'm almost exclusively with Spark, and Scala is just a vehicle to express my thoughts using Spark API for Scala. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. As a matter of fact, I'm in Toronto to give 3 workshops. I gave 2 workshops. 4 days each about Spark and Scala, with 1 intro to Scala, and 3 days exclusively for Spark. It's for software developers, software architects, people who want to see what it takes to create applications using different APIs offered by Spark. So so that's pretty. I'm also a Java champion. After 10 plus years or so, I was appointed to have this prestigious title, and so I joined other more famous people as a Java champion. But this was the day. Well, it was almost the day when I decided to switch to Scala. After working for 2 years with Clojure, I needed different exposure to problems I'm solving using Java and object orientation. So the reason I picked Scala was just to because nobody cared at the time. Nobody cared about Clojure. So I said, okay, if nobody cares about Clojure, I'm gonna introduce functional programming using more mainstream programming language, and I saw that Scala was more popular, so I switched to Scala, and to be honest, never looked back. Scala is complex enough to train me, to teach me new things that I said, okay, I'm challenged every day with something new in Scala. So I said, yeah, that's exactly my environment. Nothing simple, nothing for free. You need to earn some badges to understand basic stuff in Scala. So that was my decision. Okay, and as was already mentioned, I'm with Apache Spark and Scala. I saw this this game called GitHub, where you can publish, show off what you can do with your code. And I saw this Stripe. I call it Stripe, this public contributions Stripe, and I saw people who had lots of green lights, as I call them. I saw people with 3, the entire year green. So I said, okay, I can do it myself too. So I started, you know, working with Scala, with Spark, and that was the reason that was the way I started with Spark, by lighting up, you know, the light, how to say, yellow boxes on GitHub, and eventually, after, you know, 30 days, you know, people started following my notes, Spark notes, and now after 200 or so, they plus. I crossed or a month. I can't be sure, you know, how to read it, but this is from today. So I can see, you know, my notes, mastering Apache Spark notes, are gaining momentum. So I said, okay, I said A, I need to say B, C, and D, and now, yeah, no, I can't stop doing it. It's every day brings something new about Spark and Scala. You know, I know technologies. I find out about technologies I've never worked before, which seem to be, you know, useful here and there. So I'm discovering new things every day by working with Spark and Scala almost exclusively. I'm also into, you know, SBT. Definitely, this is the topic of today's session. So, you know, the reason I'm showing you all this, guys, is to challenge you a little bit and challenge myself by saying that, you know, I'm here to bring all your questions to the end. I hope I'll be able to answer your questions. I spent enough time with SBT, so when you go to Stack Overflow, plus 50 today, you will see that my profile is built almost exclusively with answers around SBT. So when you go to SBT and you look at info, do you see my Stack Overflow profile?
Yeah, we see it.
Okay, good. So when you look at this SBT tag on Stack Overflow, you see Eugene, who is the main maintainer of SBT project, and me following Eugene. You know, I'm not gonna beat him. You know, he's too clever, too smart to be beaten. So it was my idea once to how to say, be better at SBT than Eugene, but no, it's not gonna happen anytime soon, because especially now when I'm with Spark. And as you can see, Mark Hara was the author of SBT, so he was busy, you know, with SBT, so I could, you know, jump over him, you know, and place second score. Okay, then that's how I built my experience with SBT, through Stack Overflow. Fixing questions, answers about SBT, because, you know, I hate people copying responses from Stack Overflow without, you know, thinking what these guys are doing. So without much thinking what this snippet is doing. So now I'm with SBT to help people through Stack Overflow too. Okay, do you have any questions I could, you know, use as a how to say, as a start before I'll provide you with information about SBT? Do you have any concerns, thoughts, you know, doubts regarding SBT? Anything I can use as a start?
Who here would consider themselves a beginner in Scala and with SBT? Can you raise your hand? Okay. And who's been using Scala or SBT for a couple months anyway? And who loves SBT? A couple guys. So I think that we have about a third of the room. I think that's pretty new to SBT. And then some shy people, and then the rest have a little bit more experience. But I think the majority is pretty new to SBT in general.
Okay. So I start with an intro to SBT. I try to keep it fast, so please be with me, because I'll try to clean my space. I'll show you more than I could, given resolution we have right now. So I'm sharing my my terminal when I'm playing with SBT. Okay. So if you've got any questions, during my presentation, during this SBT presentation, just let me know. Shout, okay, so I can hear you. Okay, good. So I'm yeah. So whenever I start with SBT, whatever I do, anything new with Scala, I start very simple with jumping to my sandbox. This is my playground when I'm. It's font size okay, guys?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. Should I make it bigger? Perhaps I can do it, but
yeah, bigger is good. Bigger.
Is it bigger?
Yes.
What about now?
That's pretty good.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay, so this is my sandbox. Okay, this is my sandbox where I'm that's how I'm learning new stuff in Scala. And then I create a directory. Let's call it Spark. Why not? Spark workspace. Let's call it new. Perhaps I've got another Spark workspaces available in this directory. So as you can see, it's clean, nothing inside. I don't need anything to just start with SBT. When you download SBT, it will you effectively downloaded something that's called SBT launcher. So it's not SBT itself. It's a launcher that you can use to launch anything. SBT including. So SBT launcher, it's just a coincidence that this SBT launcher has the same name. Well, I might be cheating a little bit, but it's not fully working SBT. Once you start SBT, you will notice that it will download all the dependencies that are needed for SBT to run. There are files like you can go into tilde.sbt, and you'll see directories like launchers 013 and boot. And when you look into boot, you will see it's a low-level stuff. You'll see different Scala for SBT. So depending on SBT version you've been using, you may or may not have one or many directories. And also there's another directory 013 where you can specify your configuration, global configuration. So this is the place where you can specify configuration for all the projects that will or are managed by SBT. So for me, it's like having a global SBT. Name of the file doesn't have much meaning to SBT. SBT tracks files that ends with SBT extension. So I just change a shell prompt to present my current project. So that's why you see Spark Workspace new here. You see, I just coded this shell prompt to be nice, and then it's usually presented. Okay, so it's because I just redefine a shell prompt, and this is something very low level, very advanced. So you can close your eyes now for a few minutes, for a few seconds when I'm presenting it. But shell prompt is just a function that accepts it's a function that accepts state, and you can manipulate the state to do something you can do to have a nice shell prompt. Okay, you can also inspect this function because, well, it's as a function, but it's also a setting. So you can see that it's defined by it's a function, Scala function one, that accepts state. It's a setting, okay. Inside the setting is a function that accepts state and returns a string. And this string is something that SBT will display here. So if I want to change it, why not? Let's give it a shot. Haven't done it I'm not doing it very often, but why not? Why can't I? So, hello, Torontians. Not sure if it's a proper name for you guys, but you know, let's call it this way. And then, as you see, it didn't change. And the reason for this is that SBT doesn't track your changes, local changes. You need to tell SBT that you changed the configuration files. And if you change your files, you need to reload your session. Please, don't leave your session by, you know, Control D or exit, because it will kill your JVM and you will be losing your time the next time you will start your SBT. SBT is a tool that needs to be up and running for your entire development day. So whenever you are with IntelliJ IDEA doing something and you need IntelliJ IDEA for your development, same about SBT. You need SBT for the entire day because it's so useful that, you know, I can't imagine a situation where you could not use SBT, as you will see soon. Okay, so now I reload. And have a look at this Spark Workspace New. It's now Spark Workspace New. Once I reload it, if I didn't make any mistake, I'll have this Hello Torontians. And the reason I'm reloading, oh, you see, Hello Torontians. So now I change my prompt, just like I could change my prompt on Unix using PS1. So reload just keeps your JVM up and running and just reloads configuration. So SBT just drops all the configuration. It could load during first start and you know, reloads what's needed, what's configured in 0.13 plugins and other, you know, configuration directories. So I can see Hello Torontians is good. Okay, any questions?
Nope, fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, as you can see, I just defined command alias too for plugin updates. You can define as many aliases as you want. I'm not sure if there is alias. Oh yeah, there is. I didn't know it. So you know, I'm learning SBT too, even though I spent so much time with it. So alias is a task. Well, let me inspect it. What it is exactly is then. Oh, so alias is something special. Oh, I didn't know. So alias must be a command that's not to be inspected. It means that it can accept state and all commands. The difference between commands and tasks is that commands can manipulate state. You know, your session, just like it was the case for shell prompt, while tasks are not aware of anything like state or session. Okay, but in this context, well, I'm wondering. So anyway, so alias is just a way to create commands that you can use just to improve your experience with SBT. So you can have your own alias and for this alias, for plugin updates, I use a command, a task, as a matter of fact, called semicolon. And when you go help and semicolon, you will see that it allows you to run specified commands one by one. So in this context, I created a sequence of commands or tasks. For this moment, it doesn't really matter. So I reload plugins. I do something special. You don't need to know much about it. And then I just execute a task that's available through a plugin called SBT updates. I'm gonna present it soon. So dependency update is a command that will, when executed, that will check if my dependencies are updated, are current. It's like Brew on Mac OS, Brew update, where you can see that there are some updates available and you can upgrade. So as you can see, I just executed dependency updates. It's part of this plugin called SBT updates, which I'm gonna introduce in a moment. And through this, you know that there is Scala library. The latest version, the latest release is 2.11.8. So as you can see, it's exactly what's available on the Scala version. So as you may have noticed, looking closely what I'm doing, I'm still within SBT, and I'm playing with SBT as if I were on command line on Unix. You know, I'm able to reconfigure prompt. I'm able to define new aliases. I can, you know, sequence. I can execute commands in sequence. So now I just presented the value. I just displayed the value of Scala version, and Scala version is just a way to control what Scala you use for your project. Since I haven't specified anything for my project, I just started with clean plate. I had nothing inside my project. So let me create. Let me show you. It's still, well, it's almost clean. There's this target directory, but you can disregard it because it's a working directory for SBT itself. Okay, so it tries to, you know, help you as much as possible, and it uses target. You can safely delete it, and nothing bad will happen. As a matter of fact, I've never done it before, so let me do it. So I just remove this target, and I can still query for Scala version, for dependency updates, and end up with probably with another target file, as you can see. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you is that, you know, now I know that there is this latest and greatest release of Scala 2.11.8, right? So let me set this Scala version to be 2.11.8. So through this, through set, I can set a new value, or I can set a new value to any setting while being inside my SBT session. It will effectively create another session. So I created another session, and I left the initial one. I can always go back through sessions. I can, well, not session, session, I believe. Yeah, session, and you see, I'll probably session list. Yeah, so I've got only one session now. So if I drop this session, I'll be back to my Scala version 2.10.5, I believe. So I've got this session, and it says this session is temporary space for my new values, for this value for Scala version. And without thinking much, you know, by just reading help session, I can learn that there is this save command, command or option that I can use to save my file. But before I do it, let me show you once more. I've got target and product directories. They are created by SBT. SBT is more happy having these files, but you don't need to create them. You can safely remove them if you want. But once I save my session, you will see a new file having been created called build SBT. After this, you see, I've got this build SBT. After this, you see your first line that configures this space, this project. So you can start versioning this build SBT, and make sure that every developer who uses your project uses same Scala version. It doesn't, you know, rely on environment, on SBT version, on the default Scala version. It just fixed and curved in stone. So whenever you are again back, so when I leave this SBT, and whenever I start SBT afresh, I'll see that the Scala version is 2.11.8. Okay, that was very low level. So let me bring more information for people who are new to SBT, because you might be asking yourself, why do I need SBT? Well, is should I be using it only to show Scala version, change this Scala version to some other value, and is it cool? Yeah, perhaps, but not so cool for me. So yeah, these are concerns that people have when they see SBT first time. What I find whenever I'm with SBT, I tend to start with something that's called console, and I'm pretty sure that you will love it. You will enjoy running your console. So console is, as help says, start the Scala interpreter with the project classes on the class path. It means that once you start console, you'll end up with Scala REPL with all the dependencies for the project loaded. So when you type console, you will be with your 2.11.8 Scala version. So now you can practice your Scala understanding using SBT without installing any Scala interpreter or any Scala package. Just SBT, which you have to have anyway. You may not have Scala package installed, but you will surely need at some point SBT. Why? To manage your project, because alternatives are like Gradle or Maven, and I'm pretty sure they are not as powerful as SBT, especially Maven, which is terrible for Java and Scala developers, because it uses to configure itself XML files, which are very troublesome to remember, very troublesome to maintain. And I bet that no one in the class could set up a proper Maven directory, proper Maven project without using Stack Overflow or Google. So to me, starting project using SBT is just as simple as creating a new directory, just new directory. Why not? Switching to this. And again, I'm inside my new directory without no configuration. SBT will know what to pick for Scala version, for show package, artifact ID, artifact, just artifact, organization name. Why not? It's default. So whenever I do something in SBT, it just creates an environment with many defaults that I don't need to think much about what's needed for SBT to get started. So once you start your SBT project, once you open SBT and you see this little prompt, you can do something like compile. This is probably the first, if not second, given that you just you've just seen console. It might be first or second task that you will execute in SBT. So when you compile, it will go through this project and see if there are any Scala or Java files ready to be compiled. And as you see, I had no Scala files inside my directory, and even then, compile decided to print this success. It's like for like 0 for natural numbers. That 0 is a natural number, and it's nobody knows whether it's a positive or negative, or perhaps it's just 0. Compile just assume that no files to compile is as correct as having a proper set of files to compile. So as you can see, I just compiled my project, and it compiled very well. Let me create a new, wait a moment, a new Scala command line application. So let's call it hello. Why not? Hello Scala. I'll be using this so you don't see too many tools because you might be wondering whether do I need them or not. So I'll stick to this terminal. Okay. So I create my application. So it's gonna be hello extends app. Yeah, it's always like this. And hello world or hello Mississauga. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's not very easy to for me to remember the name, but I think I made it. Okay, so I save it. Now I compile it. And it compiles my Scala class, my source, and it compiled it successfully. So the next step, the next task you'll surely need is run. Okay, so let's run my application. Why not? And I ran my application, and it printed this little hello Mississauga prompt or string. So I compiled my class. I ran it, and again I can do something similar and replace Mississauga with something like I can with Toronto, and again compile it, and again run it. It's boring, huh? After a moment you will say, oh, I hate doing it. Just switch to my terminal. Change something, change a line, okay, and Toronto, and replace it with Warsaw, Poland, yeah, and then switch again, and you'll be doing it, every minute, every few seconds. It will at some point drives you crazy. It will drive you crazy. So at some point you will think, can I automate it? Yes, you can. There is this nice tilde. That executes specified command whenever source files change. It means that if I change my Scala application, this hello application, if you trigger computation, if you execute tilde with let's say help tilde, why not make it one option every time? Well, so it's not good. So let me fix it, because it just shows. Okay, every time you touch your sources, this tilde will trigger help tilde. Why not? So I change it, I save it, and again, so execute the specified command whenever source file change. And I'm doing it on purpose, because now I've got a question for you. How could I improve my experience using SBT? What would be the use case for tilde? Given that I executed a compile, run, what would you execute? Having been told that you've got this tilde, compile, help, run. What's the command?
Compile and run.
What was that?
There's a compile and run. Someone else said test.
Exactly. You do something like this, like tilde compile. Yes, let's do this. So I compiled, and I changed it once more. It compiled. You see, it just automatically recompiles my application, and it's clever to the point that it knows that only hello was changed, and only this hello object needs to be recompiled. If I had more files inside my project, it would compute what classes to recompile, and then it creates this dependency of compilation units to recompile, and then it would recompile them. Okay, but hey, it's not very good to to just see that our application compiles. It's not something I would do. I would go for run. Yeah, just as some of you have said. So I would tilde run. So whenever I'm in SBT, I do something like tilde run, and I know that if I change my sources, not only will it compile it, but it will run it. So run is dependent on compile. So run will trigger compilation, which will do what needs to be done for compilation, and then it will say to compile will announce that it has finished its job, and then run will do the rest. Okay, so as you will see in a moment. Hello, Toronto. Okay, good. I remove this and I remove this. I save it. Down. Not only did SBT compile the application, but also run it. Any questions?
Question: can you use other editor instead of VI?
Can I use what?
Other editor. You use VI now, so
yeah, I can use any editor. SBT doesn't care what editor you're using. It only monitors sources. So when you touch, your sources, Scala sources, SBT will do the rest.
Oh, okay.
So I can use, IntelliJ IDEA, which is my favorite tool, but I didn't mean to switch between windows. So my favorite setup is like this. I finish it, I leave this session, and then I open my IntelliJ IDEA. So I'll share it in a moment. Wait a moment. I'm gonna share it. Wait a moment. Yeah. And then I'll share my IntelliJ IDEA. It's good. So it opens in full screen, and this is the Spark sources. Do you see my IntelliJ IDEA open?
Yeah.
Okay, good, excellent. I lost my it's here. Okay, so I close it. I close this project, and I open the one I created. So let me just PW. Okay, so I'll take this. So I could have also created SBT project using IntelliJ IDEA, but I got used to doing it manually, on command line. I usually, after creating this new directory, I git init it. So I start version this directory. So and I'm old timer, so to speak, old fashioned. So I'm working most of the time on command line if I can. But obviously, IntelliJ IDEA is a very good tool. So I open this project. Okay, it loads my. Oh no, it's not good. It was for Hive. So sorry for this. It's Hive. It's not my directory. Okay, good. This window definitely. Okay, and okay. So I'll leave them the other. Yeah, I'll leave it. So I can close it. Why do I need it? I don't need it at all. Okay. So now, whenever I'm here, let me turn presentation mode. Good. So whenever I'm in IntelliJ IDEA, I open my terminal. Let me mode and press mode. Okay, good. So now it should be better. Yes. And whenever I'm in IntelliJ IDEA, I open my SBT anyway, and I start my compilation, because it's quite common to see that some of my classes, my Scala classes, are wrong, are not how to say are. IntelliJ IDEA says that I've got problems with my Scala, while it's only a problem with SBT Scala plugin for IntelliJ IDEA, which is not up to speed with well, what I can do. So I do something like run. Okay, good, and I have it. Okay, so let me open my hello. So yeah, set up Scala SDK. Yeah, 2.11 is good. JDK, yeah, it's good too. So I've got them. Okay, so this is my object, right? So okay, and this is my terminal. So whenever I'm in IntelliJ IDEA, well, not whenever. Whenever I'm doing something in Scala, reviewing, Spark source code, Hive, Kafka, or any other open source projects, I'm using, IntelliJ IDEA, and if I need to compile something or do something in terminal, I'm using this terminal inside IntelliJ IDEA. So yeah, so I switched to this. Okay, so let's keep it open. Okay, so what else? Well, since it's about SBT, let me bring it up. Okay, wait a moment. Okay, so it's not good. So I could just play with this application. Okay, next would be I just finished my application. This application is good. I'm ready to ship it to production. What do you think is the name of the command to create a package, deployable package? Sorry?
Package.
Yes. Kudos to your intuition. So package, and if you've got package, you may or may not be able to run it. Look at this. I tried to run it without using Scala. Okay, so that's something many people can't understand, how it is that you can't run your jar file using Java minus jar, because after all, a jar file, right? So you should be able to run this jar file. So let me switch to my command line. Do you see my command line?
No.
Okay, good. So so I switch to this directory, to my directory. Good. Okay, and I've got this.
Your command line?
Sorry?
Are you trying to show us your command line?
Yes, command line.
Okay, we don't see that. We just see your IntelliJ window.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you for. So I'm gonna share something. Okay, share. Perhaps entire screen. Why not? It will bring us. Okay, good. So do you see my command line?
Yes.
Thank you. So now I'm trying to run my Scala only command line application. Okay, so I created this command line application using Scala, and I tried to use Java minus jar to run my command line application. It won't work. Does anyone know why? Why?
It's Scala dependencies?
Yes, absolutely. Because we are using Java tools to run this, and the reason I'm showing you this, because it's not obvious how to fix it. There are two ways to fix it. First, not very how to say enterprise ready. And the reason I'm doing it also is that when you are working for big corporations, they are pretty much close to bleeding edge technologies like Scala, and they bosses are telling you to not use greatest and latest of our technologies like Scala. You can develop your applications using Scala and compile it to and create the jar files, and ship them on production, pretending that they were developed using Java. So I'm now showing you how to run Scala only command line application, or command line application developed using Scala by executing Java minus CP, or then we'll fix it in Java minus jar. So Java minus CP, I need classes, Scala function 0 classes. So I'll go to my IV2 or to SBT, and I'll have my boot, and then I'll take my Scala libraries. Let's have this one. This is a library. Let me see if there is, yeah, Scala library. You see? So I take Scala library, and I take this target, this jar file, and through this I can execute my application. You see? So nobody will know whether you are using Scala or not if you change the name of these dependencies. Okay? So if you somehow, well, it's funny, but I was in many, how to say, corporations where I couldn't use Scala, or it was not that official as it should be, and I had to hid this information that I'm developing a Scala application, because I needed to deliver, right? So I needed to deliver. I was told to use whatever I need, and when I picked Scala, I was said, well, it's not fully supported on production. Why? Because nobody knows how to support Scala applications. And whenever I said, well, Scala is pretty much, after I compile it, it's pretty much for DevOps, for admins, for operations. It's pretty much like Java, right? So why are you so bothered with what I'm using to generate bytecode? And they said no, and I said okay. So let me do this way. So this is one way to run it, and it's also useful for Spark applications. When you create your command line applications, Spark command line application, you will need to have this dependencies on command line. So I don't recommend this way, because you will have to figure out the entire class path for your Spark or other Scala applications. So there is a better way, and this better way is called, let me create a new file. It's assembly. Have you heard about SBT assembly? Okay. Do you see my window, my browser with SBT assembly?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So SBT assembly, it's a way to create something that's called Iberjar. So, this Iberjar means that you create, or sometimes it's called a fat jar. So this fat jar contains all your dependencies that are needed to execute your Spark application, or not Spark, Scala application, with all the dependencies this project depends on, be it Spark or something else. I don't care what you are using. If you use SBT assembly, it will bundle all the dependencies and create one fat jar, or sometimes called Iberjar, or Iberjar sometimes called fat jar, that will contain all the dependencies. So let's use it without much thinking about what I'm doing, except that I need to follow setup. So using publish plugin, and Eugene was very nice to us newbies to SBT assembly. So we just create a project directory, and then inside this project directory, we'll create assembly SBT. So let's do this. So I create a project directory, and then I edit this assembly SBT, and I add this line. This line is special for SBT. So what I need to do So I've got this file just to show you what I'm doing. I just defined a new plugin. Plugin is a way to extend your experience, your SBT experience, with new tasks, with new commands. It's just a plugin. So it's like, plugin for IntelliJ IDEA or for your environments, where you extend it with some additional functionality. Now I'm extending SBT with something I need to assemble my application. So I don't need to know the entire class path to run this hello. Okay. So I go to my session, to my SBT session, and again, I'm not leaving this session. So I won't waste my time for restarting JVM. I just reload it. Once you reload this SBT session, once I reload this SBT session, I can do something like assembly. So doing assembly will bundle all your dependencies and create one single fat jar. So let's press enter. You see, including all these dependencies. For now, it's only Scala library, but I could have had some other libraries. And I created this little jar file with this assembly inside its name. Okay. So let's switch to my command line and let's try to java -jar target Scala, and then where's my come on, where is this new directory? Scala new directory assembly. I should have it. Okay, it's here. Yeah, sorry, I wasn't saying. So as you can see, this is as simple as it was, or as it could be for any JVM application. You are using JVM only tools to start Scala application. And when I press enter, I'll have this hello Toronto, hello Warsaw, Poland. And then the next step is to create a Docker file so you can ship Docker images to production, rather than telling your DevOps or operations that they need to have this java -jar and target Scala 2.10 new directory assembly, blah blah blah. Okay, so it's simple like this, and this is only possible. Well, it's not only possible, but it's possible by using SBT with just very little to no skills under your belt. Regarding how to do it, you just assemble and you follow. You use SBT assembly to do it. Any questions?
I had a question about SBT run. If you call SBT run on a long lived process, is it going to kill the old process before it runs the new one?
No. Well, if you do run, it will start your process, and since it's just two lines, this process will finish, right? So effectively, what I'm doing is I'm running my application, but after a few seconds, this application finishes, and it's only tilde to keep this prompt busy. Is this clear?
How about if that process never finished?
Okay, if it does not, if it didn't, well, let's give it a shot. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I assume that it will kill this process. That's why you need some other plugin called Revolver. Revolver is part of Spray project, and it's to keep your command line application up and running. And when you need to reboot, you just change your, after you change some sources, this Revolver plugin will kill and refresh. So let's do this. So 10 seconds, and so yeah, it's gonna sleep. So wait a moment, I'm not in EVI anymore. Yeah, I just forgot. So print sleeping for 10 seconds. and then I just move it. I'm done with sleeping. Okay, good. So I save it. You see, I'm sleeping for 10 seconds. Let me change it. Ha ha ha. No. So I didn't know the answer to this question. So as you see, this sleep kept Tilda busy. So Tilda couldn't, do another, how to say, cycle. So Tilda was busy. So Tilda couldn't, figure out that it needs to be killed. So yeah. So I just learned something new. So it's only after I'm done with sleeping where the control is back in SBT in Tilda hands, and then Tilda can do whatever it needs to do.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for the question. I didn't know that. Okay. Any other questions? No questions. Okay, so I've got something. How much time do I have? It's 7. It's 8. Sorry. So how much time do I have for this presentation?
We can go probably up to another hour.
Okay. Okay. So I need half an hour. Then I'll ask you if you have any questions. If you are tired, if you are fine with what I presented, and then we decide if we need more time for more questions or. We're done. Okay. So I killed this sleeping. Okay. Nice thing about SBT is it's highly interactive. So look at this. I'm inside my SBT session, and I can show you that my current Scala version is 2.10.6. So I can open console, and I can play with my Scala version 2.10.6. I can improve my coding skills with, doing some final case classes like person, why not, string, blah blah blah. Okay, I'm fine with 2.10.6, and now it's time to, check whether my application would be fine with 2.11.8 or any other, Scala version. Without SBT, you would go to scala-lang.org and download another, Scala version, or you'd somehow upgrade your Scala in Maven or Gradle. But you wouldn't be able to run your console or Scala REPL for this particular version, right? I'm not sure about Gradle. I know that they are working on something similar. I'm not sure if they finish it or not, whether it's available in Gradle and already or not. But they try to bring something similar to Gradle. So I'm leaving this session, and again, it's Scala version 2.10.6. Now I need to check whether my project, without changing any file on my hard drive inside my project, because I don't want to how to say let's say I don't want to change anything in a project, so I would force upgrade in production, perhaps on other teammates' computers. I don't want to do this. I just want to see whether my project is ready for 2.10.8, right? So I change it. I assign new value, okay, and then I can compile with this particular version. So since I'm inside my session, I can do whatever I want, and it's only when I do session save to have these changes saved to my configuration files. Without doing this, I'm not touching any files inside my project. It's virtual. It's temporary change. So I can open console, and I'm in 2.11.8. So now again, I can do whatever I want to do inside my REPL. Okay, it's good. So let me leave this session. It's say session remove or clear. Yeah, session clear all. Good. Again, Scala version 2.6 and session list will show no session settings defined. Okay, good. Okay, another cool thing about SBT is that it allows you to define new tasks without much skills. It's as simple like build SBT. No, it's not as simple like build SBT. That's my build SBT. I thought I created it. Oh, it's probably not here, not in this directory. Yeah. Okay. So let me create a new build SBT, and I show you. Yes, import project, definitely. So now, IntelliJ IDEA recognize that I'm playing with SBT. That this is a SBT controlled project. It will do its best to to help me with my journey into SBT. Okay, good. Okay, so what is this? It's built SBT. Okay, so it's my SBT. First thing about IntelliJ IDEA support for SBT projects is that it can offer you some help, like I can define library dependencies, right? So I can use some nice cool things like auto completion, and I can define new library dependencies. It's not completed, but I wanna show you what's the current version, just so you know that it's Scalable. Okay, so it's only Scala. Okay. Now I'm gonna change it and add my lovely Spark. What else could I define these days, huh? So SQL or even Hive, yeah, because it's Spark Core, it's Spark SQL, and with Hive support, it's good. I need it. 1.6.1. This is the latest and greatest release of Spark. So I save it. Okay. So IntelliJ IDEA will recognize the change, will read this file, and define dependencies for my project. So now I need to wait a little bit until this, yeah, so, and then I do reload. Remember, you need to reload because you are, you've changed, I've changed the configuration files for SBT, and SBT doesn't care about your changes until you reload it. Okay, so now when you do show library dependencies, you will see that you've got Spark Hive as a library dependency. Okay, good. So it's all good. You can just play it. You can now do console, and look at this. I can import org Apache Spark. Well, let me Hive and SQL and Hive. Done. I can create my SQL context, new, and Hive context. I need Spark context, so it won't work. But okay, let's see if it's gonna work. Okay, it won't work because it needs to be as instance. I've never done it before. Okay, let me see if it works or not. So Spark context, it should, but I haven't imported Spark context yet. So org Apache Spark, and it worked. Yeah, well, it's null, so probably Spark didn't like it. Yeah, null point exception. Okay, yeah, definitely. So null should be checked. But hey, I just defined my dependency, library dependency, and I can play with Spark as if I had all the dependencies loaded into my how to say interactive environment. And it's only through library dependencies where I defined my Spark Hive dependency And by using SBT, by using console, I can play with Spark. I can learn something new about library I just defined as a dependency. Okay, is it clear? So now my question is, can you tell me about other environments that would give you this experience, that you could bring you library dependencies loaded into your Spark REPL? Can you achieve same how to say result? Can you have this console REPL with all Spark or any other dependency loaded?
Yeah, not that I know.
Yeah, I bet, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that there are no alternatives to this. And is it correct? So no alternatives. Did I hear right?
I think someone said that, yeah.
Yeah, so it's only to play with new dependencies where you can use SBT. You just define a library dependency, you define your dependency, you just do something like, without thinking much, SBT console, and from this moment on you can just play with whatever defined as a dependency. It's so productive. It's so productive. All you need to have is SBT, empty directory, well, pretty much empty, with a build SBT where you defined your library dependencies. Okay, good. Now the question is, why did I use this 2% signs? Is there anyone who can explain it?
Binary versions of Scala.
Yes, but can you elaborate a little bit more?
Underscore 2.10 and underscore 2.11. Cross version.
Yeah, but why should we be concerned with it?
Oh, a lot of Scala packages are cross compiled for 2.10 and 2.11 when they're released.
Yeah, and yes, thank you for this. So I'm implicitly using Scala version. It's Scala version 2.10.6. Let's be explicit about it. So, without changing much, except beside this line Scala version, I just set to my environment, to SBT, to download org Apache Spark Hive library for this Scala version, because we know that we need to have cross-compiled dependencies because Scala is not backward compatible. There are differences between bytecode generated. That's my understanding. All in all, you'd need, if you had not used this, if you don't use this 2% signs, you would do something like this. This is same, okay? This is same, but it's insane, I'd say. So why? And the reason is that if you change your Scala version, if I change it, you may not notice that your dependencies are tied to a particular version of Scala. You see? So now I'm mixing two Scala environments. I'm using Spark Hive compiled for Scala 2.10, while I'm using Scala version 2.11.8. So be careful, not do it. Just remove underscore 2.10 and use 2% signs. Okay? Good. So now, if I'm I can do whatever I want with this library dependencies. But there's something more. Let's go back to SBT. So I know that I can compile, I can run, I can test. Yeah, definitely I can test, but I'm not good at writing tests. So I'm not gonna present it now. So I need to improve this part of my experience, Scala experience. Okay, since they are competing for this lock, so let's give this. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Nice. So now I'm using Scala version 2.11.8, and all my library dependencies are, if I'm using 2% signs, they are for this particular Scala version 2.11.8. Good. So again, this is similar to something like this. Oh, let's do this way. Same. Okay, good. So this line is exactly the same as this one, but this one is more powerful because it hides what Scala version this dependency is for. So if I change Scala version, it will reflect this change, and SBT will pull Scala high for this Scala version, for in this case 2.11. Okay, good. Okay, let's create a command, a new task. You know, if I type something like "hello Toronto" or just "hello," okay, it's not available. You see, not a valid command, not a valid project ID. It doesn't exist. So let's create your first task using SBT, and you'll see that it's pretty simple. You just declare your lazy val, and the reason for lazy is you know, it's a low-level explanation. Don't need to worry about it. If you want, you can go with vals, but I just strongly recommend you know, starting with lazy vals. Okay, so lazy vals are not very good for well, might not be a solution in many cases, but in this case, in this particular case, when SBT tries to load all the vals, it's good because SBT is by default multi-threaded. It will try to load as much as possible in parallel. So it might be that it accesses some you know, some vals that are not available yet. So that's why you need to lazy val your vals. So let's create a new task. Hello. It's a you know, lazy val. As a matter of fact, I didn't mention it, but especially this is important for people new to SBT. What we are doing right now is regular Scala coding. SBT configuration is described by function calls. So this Scala version is exactly the same as if I did something like this. Yeah, this is same. Okay, but it doesn't look that sexy, right? So let me. So I'll keep it. I keep it here. So you just, you know, so your eyes will bleed for a moment, and after a moment I'll do something like this. Okay, good. Excellent. So again, these two lines are same. They equal. You may or may not use new lines. They are no longer required. It's up to you. It's so whenever you see, you know, multiple lines, it just you know, I would say someone who played or who configured set up SBT just you know, chose to do it this way. Okay, so I just create a new. Let me remember it's setting. Yeah, setting. So by using setting key, I'm creating by using this macro, I'm creating a setting. Well, let me bring my. I need to SBT settings definition. Yeah, it's good. So it's wait a moment. It's here. Yeah, it's task. Okay, tasks. So inside task, when you are at SBT website, you will read about, you know, ways how to interact with SBT through tasks, and there are, you know, features and then features too, and you will see that there is this task key and setting key. Okay, so I'm good. So So setting key, the difference between setting key and task key is that setting key is like val. It's only once initialized at startup time, while, so it's like a value, while task key is more like a method definition. It's like a function. Whenever you call it, it will give you different results, okay? So let's assume that whenever I call hello, I'll get back my string, and this string will say, oh, be nice to Torontians. They are nice people, really. Okay, so I save it, and when I save it, I can assign this hello a value. So hello Torontians, okay, and it's done. I created my setting, and I can use this setting to create something more advanced. So I can create more settings using this hello setting, or I can use this hello setting to create tasks. For now, let's assume I'm done. Remember, hello was not available. So through this setting key macro, I created a setting. So I reload. I hope I didn't make mistake. So it's okay. And now whenever I do hello, it will print hello Torontians. You see, I just created very nice. Very nice setting, and I can also ask for help. You see, be nice to Torontians. They are nice people, really. Okay, so this is what's gonna be printed out when you execute help. This is type of the return value from this setting, because setting is just a function that will be evaluated at startup time. So it's fixed. You can't change hello. Hello is fixed. While you can change your task. Hello, no, let's be nicer. Okay, task key, and task key will return string, and this is my own personal task, and I do something like be nicer, and I do grab the, so I'm creating a function, so I'll grab a value out of this hello, and that's enough. I can finish it, because I declared, I defined that this task key, whenever called, will return string, and we know that hello is of type string, so I'm fine. You see, all is fine. I can just reload my session. Me wait for IntelliJ IDEA. It needs its time too. Okay, it's done. So I can reload my session. And when I reload my session, well, it's not done yet. Okay, come on, SBT. Oh, okay, good. So I reload my session, and now be nicer will show almost nothing. The reason for this is that it printed something, but we can't see it, because it's by default tasks need this show. You see, so show be nicer just prints this hello Torontians. So let's print this value and just return something, something else to meet the return type, right? So we need to match, not meet. Okay, so I'll now will print this hello value. So effectively, I create a dependency between be nicer and hello. So be nicer depends on hello. Okay, so I reload this session. Good. And then whenever I call be nicer, I get this hello Corinthians. Okay. Now, how do I know whether this task key depends on setting key or not? Well, it's through inspect. So inspect, help inspect. It's through inspect where you can learn a little bit more about you know, your keys, your tasks, you know, dependencies, who is using a given key, what's the definition, blah, you know, lots of nice things you may like to know. So whenever I do inspect be nicer, I learned that it's defined in build SBT at line 13. It has dependencies on hello. You see this hello, and this is description. This is my own personal task, and the return type is string. Okay, the type of the return value is string. Also, I can inspect my hello, and I can learn about this hello, that this is a setting, so it's a fixed value of type string with this content, with this value, hello Torontians. And there's this description, be nice to Torontians, they are nice people, yeah, provided by, so where I created this, exact location, defined at, and there's this nice feature, reverse dependencies, by using which I can learn what other dependencies, what other settings or tasks use this setting. So through reverse dependencies, I know that be nicer depends on this hello. Okay, so as you can see, you know, it only took us 1.5 hours to learn, you know, more about SBT, and it's pretty easy comparing to what you could achieve using Maven. Maven is usually contender for you know, to be the build tool in our projects. I'm not sure about Gradle, whether Gradle is as powerful as SBT. I need to learn a little bit more about Gradle to bash it whenever I'm presenting SBT. I believe that SBT is so powerful that it's too powerful for many people, and you know, it's as powerful. So people can't get their heads around this tool, and there's too much to learn, but it's only because nobody showed these people how to learn SBT in a nice, comfortable way, just like what we've been hopefully doing so far. So you see, I just defined a setting, a constant in my project. I can use it. I can even use it in other, you know, files. Why not? So let me create another SBT SBT file. So I'm gonna use this SBT file just for fun. So fun SBT. Why not? Any SBT file inside my main directory is part of my build definition. So I can do something like, what can I do? Let me create another task. Lazy val, show me. Show me. It's gonna be task key. Yeah, why not? It will return unit, so it's a procedure. So will side effect. We show me to show the value of what was this? Hello. Yeah, hello setting. So I do show me, and I'm pretty much doing what I've already presented. I print on the value of so this is the current value of and then hello value. Okay, I save it. Well, it might be that as IntelliJ IDEA won't like this construct, but it should be available. Well, let me see. Let me see if I didn't presented something I shouldn't. So reload. Oh no, it's so hello is because I know. Oh yeah. So I shouldn't. It's fun. It's before. No, it should be available. It's hello lazyvar. Ooh, that's something I can't explain. Sorry guys. I wanted to present something nice, but it's not available. Hello value. It should be here. Let me check by this. But it doesn't matter. You know, it's hello. Guys, it's not color. Oh, okay. So let's pretend I didn't present it. Okay. So I just remove it. So this should work, but you've already seen it in action. Yeah. Okay. So okay. Do you have any questions? Because we are, close to close the presentation. We are, past the hour, so half past the hour. So
yeah, why don't we open it up to questions, just general questions, I guess, to everybody. I have a few, but I'll leave it to you guys first.
Oh, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier about when you talk about SBT assembly, you can make a Docker image. What was that about?
yes. Okay. So well, you can't use SBT assembly to create Docker image. There is another plugin called Native Packager, and Native Packager is another nice tool. Muki created this, and it allows you to create native packages for different environments, RPM, deb packages, zip files for Unix, Unisys for Windows. You can create Docker images as well. It should work out of the box. So it's a good way to give it a shot. Why not, right? So let me see installation. Installation is as simple. I'll fix it because it shouldn't be plugins. It's better than this. So let's create this plugin. So project, a new file on the project. So let me remove it. And naming convention is to name files, SBT files under project, to follow the names of plugins that these files contain. So in this case, it's native packager, so I would call it native packager. So I cut this SBT, and then I would, because we define it, and okay. But this is just a naming convention, okay? So I'll have it, I save it, I let my environment to reload it, and then through native packager, I'll be able to create Docker images with my command line application. So let me answer other questions while this this plugin is resolved, being resolved. Okay? Oh, it's resolved. So I don't need to wait. So let me retry. So I retry. Okay, so let me reload again so I can make sure. So what plugins do I have? This is something I didn't show you yet. I should. So when you are on the command line, you use plugins to learn about all the plugins that are available in your environment. So execute plugins, and you know that you've got a few plugins, auto plugins enabled already. And there are other plugins like Akka app packaging, Java app, Debian, Docker. You see, Docker plugin. So for Docker, it's probably I can't create Docker yet. So let me read some SBT Docker. How can I create native packages? Yeah, and then what about Docker? Where is this? Create Docker. I need probably setup. Native tools. No, it's not here. Oh, formats. I believe it's here. Yeah, it's Docker plugin. I probably need to define, yeah, enable plugins. So I'll define it. Okay, let me give it a shot. Why not? This is a good moment before we hit production. So I enable my enable this plugin. So I should see that Docker is enabled. It's not enabled here. You see, it's only assembly plugin enabled and updates plugin, meow SBT plugin. You can meow if you want. It's just a fun plugin. Core plugins. So let's wait. Okay, good. So let me reload. I should be fine. Yes. So now I can just execute plugin. You see, SBT publish local or just Docker. You can just Docker, and then you can have something like package, I believe. Package probably, or publish local, and I can create. Can I? Docker cannot connect to Docker daemon. So let's have my Docker up and running. So just yesterday I played with Docker. So let me bring it up. The host is not running. Yeah, I need to machine, and I believe it's start, right? It's start, and start. I've got my what machines do I have? It's default. Okay, so sorry for this. So I started waiting for IP. Okay, so while we are waiting for this Docker machine be up and running, so do you have any other questions?
I have a question. What's the difference between task key and setting key?
Okay, task key is like function, while setting key is like val in Scala.
Okay.
So your question might be like, what's the difference between a val value and function?
Okay.
Well, function is a value, but function is evaluated every time you call it. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so I started my Docker machine. So let me eval it. I hope it's visible. So I had to stop it because, new environment. Let's hope that this is, no. I need to eval it, not here. Yeah, right, sorry. I need to eval it in this. Okay, good. And now I'll start SBT, and I should be able to publish local. So let's see what machines do I have. So images, no images. Let me see if I've got my Docker images -a. No images, as you can see. Let's create one. Publish local. Yeah, you see, sending build context, waiting, FS layer. Okay, download complete, and it should be waiting. So it's doing something. So it's not yet here, but will soon. Okay, be available. Okay, any other questions?
I have a question about cross-building dependencies. Would you ever, I've never done this, but would you ever have like a project version that's a lower version than the dependency you want to cross-build with? So if my project was 2.10 something, could I bring in a 2.11 library?
Wait a moment. So your question was, can I use a dependency for Scala 2.11 in a project in a Scala project that compiles for 2.10?
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah. So it's not cross compilation. It's not. You can use well. You should not be using a dependency for 2.11 because it might use libraries. It might use API that's not available for 2.10. So it's you know it's always like this. That if you are using libraries that target 2.11, they may or may not use API from Scala 2.11 that's not available for 2.10. So it may or may not work. So it depends. Since I'm independent consultant, I usually respond with "it depends." Okay. Oh, there's this. Let's have a look. A non-zero exit value. So something was wrong. Downloaded newer image. Let me see if it worked or not. Yes, I created. You see. So I created, but there was some problem with naming because I haven't specified enough information. But can I run my application? It's probably by run, right? It was. So how can I image ID? So I'm not sure. It's been a while since I worked with Docker. Yeah. Okay. So can I what do I have? Let's see. I'm inside my Docker. So how to run it? It's by run. I don't remember how it was. It was -t. How can I run my image by? I don't remember. Okay. Anyway, so it's been a while. So it may or may not work for you, but I just enabled this plugin, Docker plugin, and through just Docker publish local, I published my image to my Docker environment. There was something wrong with it, so I need to spend my time ls opt no such file or directory. Okay, so it's probably that I'm trying to add OPT to my Docker image, and it failed. So it's not a fully working image. Okay, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question. So in the Scala project, we have two ways to define the build definition. One is like, for example, build.sbt. Another is build.scala. Yeah. So like, what's the difference between these two?
No difference. It's just a choice. Before SBT entered release 0, before SBT 0.13.5, I believe, there was not much you could do. You could code inside SBT files. So people, and especially development environments like IntelliJ IDEA, perhaps Eclipse and NetBeans too, they didn't supported build SBTs. So it was just well, not coincidence, but it was just the only way to be sane while configuring your SBT environment. Now you should start with SBT always, unless you know what you're doing in SBT, in Scala, in Scala Scala variant, if I may say so. So let's have a look. So I can go to a project, and I can define a new file called build SBT. So let's call it build Scala. And now I need to know this, the gory details of what do I need to do, whether it's extends, but extends build, I need to know it. So it may or may not be easy for new people. So you should always start with SBT, always, always, always. And when you can't express something using SBT, it's only then where you can consider doing something inside Scala variant under a project, okay? So I'll show you something like this. When you do object, and let's say object, dependencies, why not? I create my val, and let's say I define Spark version. So I have 1.6.1. Okay. Now this Scala version, this Scala Scala file is part of my build, so I can reference it, this Scala file inside my build SBT. So let's assume that I don't need to specify this dependency here. I can do something like it was build dot and then no suggestions. Yeah, I know, no suggestions. Because it was dependencies, sorry. So dependencies, and then no suggestions. Yeah, I give you no suggestions. So Spark versions, and it should be available. You see, it's available. So for Scala developers, it's like, you know, SBT looks like kind of a script, you know, script file that you script something. Even though we are, you know, defining our environment using Scala, some people don't like using SBT because, well, they got used to using Scala version, Scala, how to say, Scala variants for Scala, how to say it, Scala builds. Oh, let me put it this way. So now I reload my session, and this dependency will work fine, or it's supposed to work fine. Okay, yes, and show library dependencies. And you see, this Spark Hive is still 1.6.1 because this is the version. And as a matter of fact, IntelliJ IDEA improved support for Scala and SBT. So as you can see, I can jump to definition by, you know, Command B, and I can see that this is 1.6.1. So there is a difference. You know, it's just a preference now. Okay, so just remember, whenever you need to code something, whenever you need to describe your build, start with SBT file. And if you are stuck and see, you know, responses, answers on Stack Overflow or Google that you should be using, you know, build Scala, you can do it, but mind that you can do it same things using SBT too.
Let me just add something here. Actually, the build trait was removed from SBT.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You still can use .scala files, but you cannot extend the build trait just because it doesn't exist anymore.
Ah, okay. I didn't know it. Let me look it up. And so I go to Scala SBT. You know, since I'm not using it, so I didn't know about it.
You're probably going to have to look at GitHub. It's for SBT 1.0, not for 0.13.
What version?
1.0 is not published yet, but...
Ah, okay. So it's here. Ah, okay. So I need to go to GitHub, okay, and then go to SBT, not assembly, sorry. And then see, okay, and this, okay, so T, you know about T on GitHub. You know what T does? It will give you this nice, you know, so build Scala. Yeah, it's gone. Ah, okay. Let me switch to branch. So let me see branch 013 and T it. So build as Scala. Yeah, it's available. Yeah. Oh, and history. Let me. I didn't know that. It was. Look at this. 12 days ago. Thank you for this. I didn't know that. Okay, so it's fresh stuff. So they deprecated build. Okay, good. Yeah, use SBT format instead. Oh yeah. Okay, now yeah, that's good. Thank you for this. I didn't know it. What other questions do you have, guys?
Does it mean we can only use the SBT in future, or we can use both? Because
pardon me. Can you repeat your question?
like you just say, like the the Scala, the build tree is deprecated, is it?
Yes, it is.
So,
So forget about build Scala.
so does it mean we can only use build.sbt in the future?
No, you can still define Scala files and create an object.
Yeah.
You just cannot extend the tree. You cannot have a build.scala as used. You have to use build.sbt. One way or another. There's no way around it anymore. So build.sbt is the only way to do it. But you can, inside the project folder, define Scala classes that you can use in your build.sbt.
But when you use this, for example, the build.scala, you need to extend from the build before.
Yeah, you can do that. But you can create classes, helper classes, just like you created a dependency class that doesn't extend build.scala. You still can do that. But you cannot define a build.scala anymore.
Just short answer, too long don't read answer, is forget about build Scala. It was always very heavy to users, to SBT users. So whenever you see build SBT, build Scala, sorry, build Scala, it just artifact from the bad past. Just forget about it. Any other questions?
All right, let's limit it to one more question. Does anyone have that last question?
What's the story of Scala SBT 1.0? Where is it going?
What?
Where is SBT 1.0 going? What's the change that we're expecting it?
Well,
you want 0 point something for like forever.
Yeah. So is your question like when is SBT 1.0 released?
Yeah, and what's the primary features? What should we expect?
Okay. So I haven't followed SBT release that much lately because I'm into Spark. So I can't answer this question. Sorry for this. What I can say is that as you have seen, build Scala is deprecated. There is this cool feature called auto plugins. So I believe this auto plugin, but it was available for some time. So auto plugins. Well, there's discussion on SBT mailing list whether to add some additional plugins to be default. I asked about SBT assembly. So I asked Eugene to add this plugin because it's a must for Spark projects. You will add it. My users, whenever I train people to be better at doing Spark Scala development, I ask them to install Scala SBT assembly plugin, and all those plugin. All these skills are not necessary for Spark users, Spark developers. They may or may not need it. They might not need that much about SBT for the Spark development. So I ask Eugene to add SBT assembly as the default SBT plugin. I know that some people ask about native packager. Well, I know that a huge change is to make SBT more modular. So I know that SBT introduced this concept of modules. So now you can use SBT IO in your projects without bringing all SBT into your project. So you can depend on some infrastructure available in SBT, or that made SBT so successful. If we can assume that SBT is successful, to me it is. Some breaking changes because it's gonna be 1.0. So this is the moment to say what's gonna be supported for year or two, upcoming year or two. So, well, but not that many, cool features as it was the case for 0.13.5 or 0.14 7, I'd say. But I again, I haven't spent much time following SBT lately.
Yeah,
Any other question?
The main change in SBT 1.0 is that SBT now is going to be a server. So when you run SBT, it will start a server in the background, and the server is going to stay resident. So,
Right.
So of course, the main benefit for you is that it's going to be faster. You do not have to start the JVM, you do not have to wait for the JVM to warm up. But actually, the main reason behind it is not performance, it's better integration with the IDEs. So now in
Yes.
IDE and IntelliJ, they will not try to compile the Scala code themselves, be it using some kind of hack that they, like IntelliJ does, that they embed SBT, or maybe using the Zinc compiler that SBT provides. But actually, you're going to send the request direct to SBT, the server, and the SBT is going to build this project for you. So this should bring a lot of improvements for the ideas. Main motivation behind it.
Excuse me, may I know your name? You seem to know a lot about SBT. So I know that I'm an independent consultant, so I need to know who is better than me, right? So I got stuck.
I organized the Scala conference here in Canada.
Okay, so what's your name?
Scala North. It's the only Scala conference here in Canada.
Okay.
And
okay, good.
I've worked with Scala for over 5 years.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm gonna ping you offline to discuss what I could have missed being so focused on Spark these days. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I say we let it wrap up so PagerDuty can close down, but let's give Jacek a round of applause for a great session. And thank you so much, Jacek, for coming and talking with us so short notice. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure to share what I learned. Meet people more crazy than me, like this guy behind you. The one who organizes the conference. So thank you all. It's whenever you need to know something about SBT or tools I'm using like Scala, Spark, just ping me. I can give you some intro to different modules. I'm spending all my time now with Spark. So if you need me for anything Scala related plus Spark, I'm here. I can share what I learned so far. Okay. So thank you again for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for coming out. Feel free to stick around for drinks if you want them, or take home pizza. Seriously, take a box if you want. We're not going to eat all that.
What's Jacek's like email or something? You can contact him.
If you want to email or contact
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a moment. It's a workshop. It's not here. So when you go to blah, 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 what's that? Gitbook. Gitbook is good. So go to bit.ly mastering Apache Spark, and you will see my contacts. So you see that's like at Jacek PL or Jacek Laskowski.
Yeah, I'll bring it up over here.
What's that?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Jacek.
Thank you.
Bye.